Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to my guide or explanation here of PID and how it affects the PvP today. So I'm going to try and go through some examples of how PID affects regular PKing and most specifically high-risk PKing, because I think that's where PID is most impactful, but it obviously does apply to regular PKing just like Edgeville and stuff. So I'm going to use examples of me PKing and show you all what it means to have PID, and mostly I think the thing that I do want to focus on is the advantages that you do get out of PID, and hopefully it will help people be able to recognize it and know what it means really when you're risk fighting or when you're fighting someone. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, before we get started on going through different clips and stuff, I think the first thing I want to do is just kind of describe and do my best to explain what PID is verbally. So PID, basically what it means right now in old school is who has priority over the other person when you all are interacting, whether it be like staking or trying to pick up the same item, or if you're opening a door. Whoever has PID is the person who, if you all were to click something at the exact same time, whose would register first. So I think the best way to visualize PID is kind of to think about 2,000 slots. Just like there's people allowed in one world, there's 2,000 people allowed in one world, and when you log in, you're randomly assigned a number between 1 and 2,000, and the person with the number 1 has the best PID in that world, and the person with 2,000 has the worst PID in that world. So the person with PID with a PID of 1 would have priority over every other single person in the world. Now normally, like a better example of like in a fight would be, I would fight someone, me and him would click each other at the same time, and my PID might be like 20 or something, and his might be like 416. So mine is lower, and therefore I have the priority on him. So when we attack at the exact same time, my hit is going to appear first. And now your PID changes every 60 to 90 seconds, so it is forever changing. Mine could, then go to 900, and his could be like 45, and then he would have priority on me, and then it would swap mid-fight. And that totally happens, but I think that 2,000 kind of person example is the best way to visually kind of and verbally explain it. Okay, so I got my 2 accounts set up here in my house, and what I'm going to do is just attack them at the exact same time. So you can see that there is a difference in them. Even though they're attacking at the exact same time, the hit spot is appearing instantly on my Zerker, whereas on my Pure gets hit with the arrow, and then the hit spot actually shows up a little bit later. And that's the way of telling who has PID. So you can tell that when my AGS Pure shoots my Zerker, the hit spot appears instantly, meaning that my Pure has PID over my Zerker right now. And now obviously this is temporary, it will change. That is kind of random, and you can't really predict when it will change, so you just kind of have to deal with it during a fight. But if we were risk fighting in a situation, this would mean that my AGS Pure here would have odds on my Zerker. So now when you're in a fight and you're moving around and you're shooting your MSB and you're trying to go for your spec and you're eating and all these things are going on, it can be more difficult to identify who has PID, but it's definitely very crucial, and it's definitely something you should be doing. So I'm going to show you all some examples from me where I'm just fighting someone, and starting from the beginning of the fight, you instantly want to know who has PID. So here I start this fight with this guy, and instantly, just off this first arrow, I could actually tell that I didn't have PID. And this was because as soon as I shot it, you could see that my arrow hit him, and then my hit did not display instantly. My arrow had disappeared, but my hit did not display instantly. This means that I do not have PID. However, you can also tell that instantly after he shoots his arrow, his hit appears. So this here, you can tell that he has PID on me. So just off those two, you have 2 ways to tell off the very beginning. And as the clip continues, you can see that normally after like the maybe like first 3 or 4 arrows, it's not too hard to tell. You can tell that his arrows, as soon as they hit me, the hit spot is instantly appearing. However, mine, it takes a little bit for it to appear. And one good example here is actually how he's shooting his MSB 1 tick after me. However, our hit spots are appearing at the exact same time. So early on in a fight, I would definitely recommend looking at these things and definitely identifying who has PID. So when you're fighting someone, you're just shooting MSBs at each other, and your hit's appearing before the other person, it's not too big of a deal. However, when you're PKing with a Gmaul, which is the majority of risk fighting for at least Pures and Zerkers, that's when PID is really actually important. So here I'm going to show you all some fights that I did on my AGS Pure against a friend, and I'm going to show you what my Gmaul spec would look like if I have PID, and what it would look like if I don't have PID. So here in the first one we can see where I have PID, I shoot my MSB, and he hasn't seen any he doesn't know what I've hit, but I see my XP drop, so I know that I've hit a large arrow. So what I do is I step in and I go for my insta Gmaul. So I go in for my instant Gmaul, and you can see that all of the hits appear at the exact same time, and he has no reaction. So if he was sitting 70 HP, I took a step in, and he hasn't seen my MSB yet, so he doesn't want to eat on 70 HP, because you never know, that MSB hit could be a 0. But I know that MSB hit is, like whatever it is, and I know to go in for my Gmaul. So he's sitting on 70 HP, I hit, my high arrow, and then I can go in for my Gmaul, and he has no time to react, because there's no animation for my Gmaul, the hits just all appear instantly. Now, the story is very different when you don't have PID, and mainly because the other player has time to react, because they know that you're Gmauling before the hits can actually appear. So in the previous example, you saw that as soon as I clicked my Gmaul and I clicked my other target, my MSB and my 2 Gmaul hits appeared, and there was my Gmaul just appeared in my hand at the same tick that the hits appeared on the other guy. However, if I don't have PID, what would happen is when I Gmaul, there is a short swinging animation that the spec would normally do of a Gmaul before my hits actually appear. And this is a very short amount of time. It's one tick, it's 0.6 seconds, so it's not very much. However, in wrist fighting, almost all the wrist fighters can react to this time, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, so I wanted to keep this video pretty short just for anybody who's trying to quickly learn about what PID is. They will be able to, just watch like a 6-minute video and boom, there they go. They know what PID is. Hopefully they know the advantages that PID gives, and they know how to identify who has PID on the other person. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, feel free to leave a like. If you still have any questions, you can feel free to leave a comment. I will do my best to answer any questions that people have. And yeah, I think that's it. I do plan on talking about some of my opinions on PID and things like that, but I'll do that in another video. Hopefully just, PK in the background and talk about it just for some fun, see what other people have to say. But yeah, I hope this vid did enjoy it, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace, guys.